Good morning. I would like to bring this August 2nd meeting of the Planning and Advisory Commission to order. If you'll please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and I would like to remind those in the audience and those watching on television that this is the first reading of any rezoning or special exception requests brought before us today. We will first hear a reading of the staff report for the case and ask the applicant to provide a brief overview of the request. We will then give the opportunity for anyone in the audience to speak for or against that request. The commissioners will have any needed discussion, then vote and render a recommendation to City Council. The recommendations will be sent to City Council and also back to the Planning and Advisory Commission, who will hear the request 2 more times before rendering a final decision. We do have minutes that were sent out to you all, commissioners, from the July 19th meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to those? Because if not, we will accept as submitted. All right, I see none. So we will submit those as accepted. And we don't have any old business, but I know I always say in the introductory that this is the first reading of any rezoning cases, but from time to time we do table cases and need to bring them forward again. And this actually is one of those cases that if you tuned in and saw our July 19th meeting, this is actually the same case with a few changes made to it. It is REZN-07-17-1352, and this is a request to amend the zoning atlas of the Columbus Consolidated Government. The Planning Department of Columbus, Georgia, with permission of Jimmy Lewis, Trent Chester, and Nellie Smith of Columbus, Georgia, has submitted an application for 5030, 5036 Farley Drive, and 205 North Star Drive. These would be parcels 094-026-011 and parcel 094-026-010, and lastly parcel number 094-026-012. The current zoning is NC, which is neighborhood commercial, and the proposed zoning is SFR2, which is single family residential 2. The property is located in Council District 4, Pew. Mr. Harrod, if you'll read the staff report for us, please.
Thank you. The Columbus Planning Department is the applicant. The owners are Jimmy Lewis, Trent Chester, and Nellie Smith. Location is 5030, 5036 Farley Drive, and 205 North Star Drive. The acreage is 0.99 acres. Current zoning classification is neighborhood commercial. Proposed zoning classification SFR2, single family residential 2. Current use of property is single family. Proposed use of property is single family. General land use is consistent. It is in planning area E. Current land use designation is single family. Future land use designation is single family. It is compatible with the existing land uses. There are no environmental impacts. All city services are provided. Traffic impact should be the same. There were no concerns from traffic engineering nor schools. Buffer requirement is a category A for all property lines bounded by the NC zoning district. There was no comment from Fort Benning. It is not a DRI. There were 48 people who were notified. We had no calls or emails from adjacent parcel owners. On the last time that we met with this case, there was one applicant or one person who was a resident close to them that had a concern. As you can see, Mr. Trent Chester has sent me an email indicating that he did want to be in the rezoning and has stated that 205 North Star Drive was supposed to be part of the rezoning.
Thank you for including that.
Are there any questions other than what?
Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Harrod? All right. If our applicant would like to come forward.
Good morning, Will Johnson, Planning Department. As we stated last time, Ms. Lewis came to us noting that There were 5 parcels there, zoned neighborhood commercial, that were either vacant or single-family homes with 3 different property owners. Because of the number of homes, we told her that we would handle the rezoning for her. As Mr. Harrod stated, Mr. Chester wanted to drop the 2 properties next to Chester's Barbecue in case there's ever opportunity for expansion, which makes plenty of sense from a business standpoint. So we are down to the 3 that we brought forward last meeting.
Commissioners, any questions?
One
No.
quick question. You said that Mr. Chester did send an email,
It should.
so we have it in writing?
We do. It should,
Okay.
I think it's in your packet. It's a real short email.
Short is sometimes sufficient.
That's it.
Thank you.
But yeah. Any other questions, Commissioners, for Mr. Johnson? All right, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak against this request? Anyone who would like to speak for the request? If you'll, sure, you can come forward. Just state your name and address for us, please.
Starla Lewis Destisher, 5036 Farley Drive, Columbus, Georgia. Just wanted to go back and reiterate what I said last meeting about this being important to be able to zone this to to single-family residential, simply because Ms. Smith and my parents are getting older, and if anything happens to them and we maybe want to sell the property, me and my sister or her children, we wouldn't be able to if it's zoned neighborhood commercial. So that's, one of the main reasons why. And we didn't know, no one knew. Our assumption was that it was zoned single-family residential, and like I explained last time, this was my last step on getting the personal care home, and I waited till the last minute. Hey, I did that. I should have did that first. But, just trying to make sure that, everything is proper and that it is zoned correctly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions or discussion? Do I hear a motion? Mr. Greenblatt?
Yes, regarding case REZN-07-17-1352, applicant being Columbus Planning Department, owners being Jimmy Lewis, Trent Chester, and Nellie Smith, location 5030 and 5036 Farley Drive and 205 North Star Drive. Current zoning classification is neighborhood commercial, proposed is single-family residential 2. Current use of property being single-family residence and proposed also single-family residence. Being that it is consistent with general land use and it is compatible, I recommend that we approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Davis has a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it is unanimous, so that will go before as a recommendation to pass. Sure. Mr. Kenner?
Mr. Johnson, I'm wondering if there's some way, since the lady was delayed because of administrative issues here, if it can be expedited to City Council just to help her along?
We will attempt to get her on for the 22nd.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Well, that is the only...
Well, real quick, I just want to thank our visitor here today. You were very patient with us, and I know we kind of set things back last meeting, but you showed the proper model of citizenship. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And good luck with what you're trying to do in the future with that, too. We have no other business, so is there anything, Mr. Harrod, that we need to...
I have nothing further.
Okay. All right. Well, we are adjourned. Thank you.